think that's... We could get rid of a bit more here. It's totally up to you on how much you want to, much time you want to spend on this. I personally like to have it squeaky clean. And we'll just have a quick look at the gears. So lots of hair on there. I'll just take a little bit of tissue. Just work it around. Okay, not so bad. Just see some hairs in the spring. Let's just get rid of those. About a quick wipe. There we go. Lovely and shiny. Replace the spring, place him back at the top so we know where he goes. Have a look at the middle piece. Any way works for you, just get rid of that muck. Okay, that's better. And the final piece. Oh, look at that. Big clumps of muck straight off it. And again, keep working around. It's always a good idea to do this sort of thing at a desk. I've got a white piece of card on the bottom just to highlight all the parts, so if you do drop something like I just did, it's easy to find. You don't want to be chasing around on a carpet looking for a tiny screw or piece of gear. Okay, let's start putting the pieces back together in reverse order. Leaving the motor in the on position at all times. The spring ends go to the bottom. and here the cog goes to the bottom. They just sort of sit up, but don't tip it up too far, they will fall out. Finally, our spring cog again just sits in its hole somewhere. There we are. And this is optional, but if the motor, basically they do have grease in them when they're new, and that does last for a few years, but this one is pretty dry, so what I'm going to do is just give it a quick WD-40, and I do mean quick, a tiny spray. No more than that, just to keep the inner workings nice and moist. And now we'll attempt to fit the case, and it's a case of just trying to get the 3 cogs standing in an upright position. Which is easier if you're not trying to film it at the same time. And these 3 holes, we're just going to align 1, 2, 3. I can see I've got 1 and 2. The bottom is slightly out, so I'm just going to edge it forward a tiny piece. There we go. And you can see 1, 2, 3 pieces. Oh, I've almost just missed out here. Which needs to be held. There we are. So our plate is held in securely. There are 3 pins, and if we grasp the motor firmly, we should be able to turn it off and on and see the pins locking in okay. So still grasping firmly, we'll just pop the screws back. The right screwdriver. There we have it. A clean and de-fluffed motor. And for refitting, we can just pop this case off. I always find it easier to work this way around. And we're going to make sure that this connector goes in here. So we're going to go this way in, Once we're sure it's in at the front, we can just click down at the back. And it should sit flat, not sitting up one way or the other. Now, top tip, before you put the screw back in here and here, don't forget your coupler, because you won't be able to get it back in without removing the motor again. So we'll simply just lift up at the back, and pop that in there. And we're ready to screw in. I'm going to put the large screws in first that hold the motor in. Don't over tighten it, doesn't need to be too tight. The screws will last for a lifetime then. And finally just the I hear you say. You're right. Well, that piece needs to be fitted first. We can edit that out in the cuttings later. This is what comes from some trains having these parts and some not. You don't get used to doing it all the time. That's better. There we go. So same fitting again, just remembering to have your plate in position. Perfect. Let's get the chassis screwed to the motor. Our final screw. Nice and solid, just check, no movement, and we can just check that it's working. Other brand batteries are available. Turn it on and everything looks fine. And we can refit our lid. And voila, a working, cleaned, maintained, fully serviced engine ready for miles and miles of more fun. Thank you for watching.